Yeah.
Because then people are like, am I stealing it?
I'd love a toilet. I need one in my van. Free toilet. Remember the Dilemma episode in season 2? It took place in August of 2018 when I completely finished cleaning all my repeat clients for the year and had totally exhausted my list of leads. I was having challenges with that, so I was faced with the dilemma whether to go to Winnipeg, a brand new city I'd never been in, or back to Calgary. I ended up going to Calgary because at the time I really needed money. Right now I'm in the same position. It's August 2019. I've done all my repeat clients and totally finished all my leads until mid-September when I'm gonna get busy again with fall cleaning. I've got a couple of weeks of this debt time I need to kill. This year might be one of the last years I do this, or at least the last year I spent a full summer on the road, I hope. So I figured if I don't go to Winnipeg this year, I probably never will. So this year, I'm finally doing it. I'm not going so much for the money, but more for the adventure and to experience a new Canadian city. And I'm only going for 2 weeks, but I'm also going for a different reason. I want to test something out. I've been doing this van life for 5 summers in a row, and obviously the systems I've developed for how to live in a minivan have been optimized and tweaked. It's like a well-oiled machine by now. So what I want to test is,
and we always play for the lead.
will my optimized systems work just as well in a brand new city I've never been in? I mean, I know it'll work, but I still want to try it, you know, just to prove it to myself that I can do it. So I'm gonna go for coffee now to do some research, take you into my mind, and show you a little bit about my thought processes to make you understand the method behind my madness.
But first, I had to help someone out. The rabbi's wife Sarah sells her own Jewish baking at the Saskatoon Farmers Market. She asked me to watch the stand for her for a couple of hours the day before my trip because she had an important engagement to attend to, so of course I said yes.
That's what we were looking for.
The Jewish baking?
Yes.
So we have, this is kokosh cake, it basically has chocolate in it, and this is a challah, typical Jewish bread, and then this is the same version, just buns, and poppy seed.
Yeah.
This is really good. It's really like rich. Yeah, I recommend this one. This is my favorite one actually.
We're gonna get a challah today?
Thanks guys, see you later.
After the market, I went to the coffee shop across the street to do some research on Winnipeg.
So the first thing I'm going to research is where I'm going to take my showers. So the gym I go to in Saskatoon is called Snap Fitness.
This gym has branches in other cities and my pass is valid across Canada. As you can tell, Winnipeg has 9 locations, so no matter where I am in the city, when I finish work, I have a gym nearby to shower. This is much better than in Saskatoon that only has 2 locations. Next, I need to know where all the good coffee shops are. So I love good coffee shops and I highly depend on them when I live in my van because this is where I spend most of my time when I'm not working, like on rainy days and very hot days, and every single morning. So coffee shops, very important. But I hate Starbucks and all the chains, so I always go to the independent cafes because they usually have better coffee and always a better vibe. Plus, they give me a more authentic feel for the city. So I examine each one on the map, and just by how they look in the Google Map images, I can usually tell which ones appeal to me and which ones don't. And then I'll bookmark them for later when I'm actually in the city. Next, I need to find good neighborhoods to work in. This time I have to switch from map to satellite view. I always target the new development neighborhoods that have hundreds of cookie cutter houses and are usually located on the outer edges of a city. Unlike the neighborhoods in the center of the city that have a grid form, the ones I want have a more circular form and look like one development company planned it all in one go. These are the neighborhoods that always work best for me. In satellite view, I can recognize these neighborhoods right away. Once I find them, I'll always drop the little yellow man to get street view and confirm that they are what I want, which is usually the case. Just endless rows of cookie cutter houses. Next, sleeping areas. Here, I actually do want to target the more central areas because I don't need to work there, but they are usually the more historical and pretty neighborhoods, which makes it more pleasant to sleep in them. These heritage neighborhoods are also usually the hipster areas, so that's where you'll find all the cool coffee shops. This way in the morning when I'm a little impatient, I can drive 5 minutes and I'm at a nice cafe to start off my day in a nice way, instead of in some boring suburb. In terms of being in a neighborhood that feels safe to sleep in, that's a little harder to gauge from street view. But usually when I actually get there and drive around at night, I can sense if the area feels good to me. That's when I trust my gut feeling the most, but it's always good to do some preliminary research on Google Maps. Lastly, I need to find places to hang out in the evenings. Usually that means cinemas or coffee shops that are open late. Here, I'm less picky about cafe vibe. As long as the place is open until 10, 11, or even midnight, it's clean and safe, has Wi-Fi, and plugs for my computer. So usually a Starbucks is good enough.
So there you have it. There are a few other details I look for, but these are the important ones, and right now I feel much more prepared going to Winnipeg, knowing what I know in advance.
The next morning, with some Jewish pastries that Sarah gave me for the road, I set out on a 900-kilometer journey to Winnipeg.